Wake up in a panic, we're in over our heads again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a trap does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Sondra, and I am the host of the Explore ProTech Coffee Shop Show. Oh boy, it's Monday. I hope everybody's doing wonderful and had a great, amazing weekend. Our goal on the Explore ProTech Coffee Shop Show is to help entrepreneurs grow their business, start their business, or wherever they're at in the journey. So I am joined by the amazing co-owner of Explore ProTech, Peter. How are you today, Peter?
Could be better. My geyser broke. I've got no hot water.
Oh no, oh no. We didn't even get to that part of it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today is we jumped into marketing starting last week. So if you missed that show, go back and watch it. We started with client avatar because you got to know who you want to talk to. Basically, boil it down to as simple as completely possible. So today we're going to talk about digital marketing 101 for entrepreneurs. We're coming from our perspective, of course. Everybody has their own perspective, but this is just ours. We come from experience. We come from, oh gosh, 6 years plus of, and then some of experience. That's what we're coming from. So I always like to start with definitions. So definition of digital marketing. A digital marketing plan is your roadmap to promoting your business online and achieving specific marketing goals. It outlines the strategies and tactics you use across digital channels to reach and engage your target audience. So digital marketing is not just social media. It's not just ad. It's all of it. So some different types of digital marketing is ads, social media, email marketing, SEO, your website. If you work with influencers, cross-promoting, in-person events, virtual events, all that's marketing. It's you getting your message out there to the people that are your clients. So real base of that. So, but again, you have all these different avenues. Pick one. Start with one. Start with one. I can honestly, when you try to do all of it, you will succeed at none because it's just you're too spread out. Unless you've got some money that you can invest in a marketing team for all these different avenues, which most of us are small business owners and we do not, start with one. Start with one platform. Start with one, if you want to do one social media platform and an email marketing, like that's fine, but don't, go in 20 different directions or hire an ad company and all these things, put your money where you and time, because time is money, where you think you're going to be most successful. And there's no golden ticket. It's trial and error. I don't know a golden ticket, a magic wand that says, hey, this is me, I'm on this platform, this is the client, this is what your message should be. It's a lot of trial and error. So that is why you come up with a roadmap. A roadmap is not a stiff plan. A roadmap is, you look at a roadmap. Okay, some of y'all don't know what a roadmap is, but back in the day, it was a piece of paper you unfolded and you followed these different roads. Or your GPS will detour you off if you're going down the wrong path. So definitely make a plan, create a goal. Yeah, I know how much I love goals. Create a goal with an action plan, whether that's daily actions, weekly actions, monthly actions, should be all of them. But start with something that you can measure, that's time bound, and that you can keep checking to see if you're on the right road, basically. So that's definitely some just super basics of that. And you're also going to look at your client avatar. Where's your client avatar spending time? That was part of your client avatar building. It's like, yeah, okay, they're hanging out on LinkedIn and they follow influencers, blah, blah, blah. They are, they like to be on LinkedIn on the weekends or during the week, or, they're international, so your time zone is opposite of theirs. Using that client avatar as you build a roadmap for marketing is extremely important. Maybe they like articles on LinkedIn. Maybe they like a blog post. Maybe they like a video. Maybe they like a combination of all of them. Short post, long post. There's just definitely different avenues. And then you've got, TikTok if they're a video person, Twitter if you're in the business that's I don't even know what Twitter is anymore, to be honest. Not Twitter, X. See, I can't even call it the right platform. But know what those platforms are and who hangs out on them, so you know where your client avatar is. And then what type of content do they navigate towards? Long form, short form, video, combination, slides, carousels, Pinterest. I mean, there's, again, so many different ways you can go. You really, really need to base it off of your client avatar. What is your business? Where do people hang out? Maybe, you're selling stuff on eBay. So where do people hang out on eBay, obviously, because it's its own platform. Get to know the platform, get to know a platform really, really well. I follow a lot of social media people, and it's always the number one rule. Pick one, and start on one and build it out from there. And I can also say I didn't do it that way. So live and learn by my own. So there's also, looking at different content marketing and social media marketing. You also have SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. It is its own thing, literally its own thing. It's its own container. There's a lot to it. So it's not as simple, I'll look up what SEO is and follow that. It's part of a marketing plan, that its own branch. Like that's its own continent over here that you when you jump in, you need the help, and you need to know the best resources. Use your resources. If you have somebody that you like that is doing well in your industry, get to know them. Even if you can't get to know them like one-on-one, get to know their company, get to know their brand, get to see where they're posting, see what they're doing, what is working. That's a tell-all, like I always, I've done this exercise a couple of times. Find 5 people that are doing what you are doing or similar to what you're doing and see what's working. Because obviously, of course, pick 5 people that are being successful at it. But yeah, definitely that's another way to figure out your marketing roadmap. Are they doing emails? Are they blasting text messages? There's, again, so many different avenues, and it's hard to pick one if you don't have a dang clue where to start. So start with your client avatar, start with what other people are doing, and how are they doing it, and how successful are they? Come on in, Peter.
Yeah, I like the way you're describing it. It's almost like a lot of people have this mentality of, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to build a website, and everybody's just going to know exactly who I am and what I do and what I sell, and everybody's just going to come rushing to my website. So I'm going to spend thousands of rands or dollars or whatever currency you're functioning in on building this elite website that has customized buttons um, and then you take a look at the traffic on your website and you realize nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you do, and nobody cares. Um, and the entire role of digital marketing is basically like a keeper at the gate. It's like the guy with the loudspeaker that goes, "Hey, everybody, come and check this out. It's over here." And it's a guide. It guides people it creates that funnel of people. But now you have to figure out for your very particular business, your guide is going to be very different. So whether you're doing email marketing, whether you're doing social media marketing, whether you're doing um, uh, content marketing, or however you're doing it, it has to make sense for your very particular business, and every business is going to be completely different. So step number one, do your homework. For my particular type of business, what is everybody else doing? What is working for everybody else in this very particular type of environment? So I think the best way to go about that definitely is research what other people are doing. You have to know what they're doing, and you have to know what's working. And then you have to figure out, will that actually work for you? Because if it's not going to work for you, you're going to have to try a different avenue. You're going to have to try something else. So do your homework. And then when you find what does work for you, understand that every different form of digital marketing is an entire job all on its own. So like Sondra said earlier, if you try and do all of them, you're trying to do like 20 people's work as one person. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. You will fail. Guaranteed. Been there, done that, not interested, bought the t-shirt, sweated my sweat, cried my tears. Don't do it. Even if you approach a digital marketing company, the very first thing they're going to do is investigate what exactly do they need to do for your very specific space, and they're going to do that. They're not going to do everything else. And if you were paying them to do everything else, you're going to be paying them more than what you're going to be earning, because nobody yet knows who you are, or what you do, or what you're about, or what you're selling, or what your product is. They don't know. So what is the word? Be purpose-driven in what you're choosing and how you're choosing to market in your very particular space. If I was selling a physical product, it would be a very different style of marketing. It would be, if I'm selling courses, it's going to be different. My audience is going to be different. And the audience sometimes decides what type of marketing you're going to use, because they're the audience and they're the people that you want. So, and then we take it a step back to last week's conversation where we were talking about was it last week we were talking about the customer avatar?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Now you've got to take that into consideration, because if you're doing email marketing, you have to understand your target audience and who are you marketing to, which will then decide the language used in your emails, because now it's targeted. You are targeting very specific types of people in very particular cultures. Each one of those different methods is an entire job. But here's the kicker. If you can't figure out how something works, it's not going to work for you.
Exactly. And if you don't know how, not only if you can't figure out how it works, if you can't figure out how to track it and see if it's working, because another key to marketing is that you have to do something consistently, at least 60, preferably 90 days. Marketing companies will tell you this too. You have to give them 90 days to prove that they're doing what they're doing. Same thing with yourself. You have to give yourself 60 to 90 days of consistent marketing. Consistent is the key word there. And I'm guilty of not always being consistent. So consistent marketing for 60 to 90 days while tracking numbers and reports and knowing how to read those numbers and those reports. And what should you be looking for in a report? Is it you just need subscribers? Probably not. A gazillion million people can subscribe and never be your right audience. So, is it engagement? Well, is it engagement in the right way? Is it who's post impressions, which most platforms have given that up because it don't mean nothing. So not only do you need to know how it works, but you also need to know how to track it and how to look at the reports and analyze it and be like, okay, this worked and that didn't work. And there's a gazillion million platforms and systems out there you can use to help you with that. Some take money, most take time to learn. So if you're not willing to learn that or do that part, then you gotta figure that out too. So, but I liked what you said. Marketing is just a marketing company is only going to do marketing. They're not going to follow up with their customers. They're not going to do customer service. They're not appointment. Most marketing companies are not appointment setters. Appointment setter is a different thing than a marketing, and know your terms. Use ChatGPT or Google and be like, what should I look for in a marketing company? What do I need an appointment setter or a marketing company? Do I, use those tools? Those two tools are usually free, and I use them. I have no problem with that. And then, like we said, look at what other people are doing, but create a plan. Don't be willy-nilly. Oh, I'm going to post on LinkedIn for 2 weeks and then Facebook for another 2 weeks. And let me blast out 2 emails in a row and not say anything for 6 months. Make a plan, stick to the plan, and maybe the plan is you only do something once a month. You're not going to get far. But anyways, gotta start somewhere. Sometimes you just gotta start somewhere. So make the plan, tweak the plan, and go hard, go hard or whatever that looks like for you for 60 to 90 days and see what works. Are you going to get it right the first time? Probably 99% not. Probably not. You might be lucky, and I'm not saying you won't. But it really is trial and error. And even marketing companies, good marketing companies will tell you that. It's trial and error. And they have some good marketing companies have some true and tried methods. So they have some methodology that can help you get there a little bit faster. But again, you're gonna pay for it. So it's money invested. Money invested in marketing is not a bad thing. You just need to know what you're investing in and why are you investing in it. Are you investing in a marketing company because somebody told you to get a marketing company? Yeah, well, that's probably not a good idea. Do you have, and if you invest in a marketing company, what do you do with them after? Like, okay, they market to these people and these people come in, and if you have nothing set up or no SOP or no anything, well, one, you waste your money because now you have a pool of people that are just like, okay, I like your stuff. Now what? And you'll be like, oh, let me go set up a calendar real quick. Oh, wait a minute, I need to set up an email. So there's some business basics you gotta have set up for that marketing company to work with. Hopefully a good marketing company will be like, hey, you don't have enough set up to we can hand you a pool of 100 possible clients and you'd be like, you're not ready. You're not ready. Come on in, Peter.
Now, I think when you are an established company, you've been functioning for years, you have an understanding of your history, your track record, the numbers, you can test different methods and see what works, and you can measure it off against what the numbers you already have, and you can see if something is working or if something is not working. It makes it a bit easier because you've got that track record, you've got that information, you've got so you can test things out. But I think when you're a new space, like a brand new space, and nobody knows who you are, what you do, and you've got to find the correct method. I think that's where doing your homework really comes in. Looking at other people, what they do, looking at what other companies, maybe even speaking to people that are in the marketing space and asking, like, what do you recommend? What do you suggest? What works for you? These are not conversations that are difficult to have. You literally just go on LinkedIn and look for marketing specialists and say, hey, let's have a conversation. I want to know more about your company and what you do. It's so simple. And they will arrive on Zoom and there we go. There's a conversation. Maybe they offer you something that really works, or maybe they suggest a different method or whatever it is, but talk about it and talk to the right people about it. At the same time, when it comes to things like, and I know some people think like this, they're like, oh, I'm just going to start a business and I'm just going to run paid ads and then I'm going to make a lot of money. Well, hello, in order to run paid ads, you have to spend money. Do you even know what your return on investment is going to be? Do you know that you're going to sell enough to cover the initial layout for the ads that you're placing? So, you've got to know. So if you're in a brand new space, don't automatically just jump the gun and think, oh, I'm just going to do paid ads. It might not be the route that you should be taking. So do your homework and make sure that your initial layout, that you can sort of create some return on investment. Because if you're not creating return on investment with marketing, then what are you doing? The answer is nothing. You're doing nothing. So don't just get something into your head and go, oh, paid ads. That's what I must do. Take a look at marketing in its entirety. Take a look at your space in its entirety. Figure out what other people are doing, what's going to work for you, customize it, create as much of a plan as possible. And if that plan is maybe email marketing, sending a couple of emails and expecting a return on that is not going to happen. You have to create an email rollout of conversations and backup emails and follow-up emails, and it has to be built. Maybe it has to be automated. Then you have to learn how to automate that space. It's not just I sit behind my computer and I send an email and go send to all. That's not how it works. Not at all. So
You can do that. You're just not going to get anywhere.
You can try it, but it's just not how it works. I think when you are in a new space, rely on the knowledge of others as much as you possibly can. For me, for me, when we first started in our space, somebody would suggest something, and I'd be like, I know absolutely nothing about that. I need to talk to somebody that does that for a living. What do they think? Pick their brains, invite them to have a conversation. What do they do? How does it work for them? But if you're not having those conversations, you're just not going to know. So find out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Use your resources. We talk about that all the time. Use your resources. And if you don't got none, get some. Get in a community. Get, yeah. And there's, oh gosh, there's networking groups. There's so many ways to get resources. And even like a lot of times I've done that. Like, I just want to learn more about this. Who would want to meet with me? And I'll give them this, something of value. And they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. Like, let's have a chat. And some people are just like, coffee chats are great for finding resources, for sure. For sure. On the platform, Mr. L asked if radio advertising is digital marketing. That's a really good question. It really depends. Is it just on radio? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you doing like literally it's just on radio? I would think not. If you're doing radio and you're putting it on YouTube or social media or on a podcast channel, then to me it's digital marketing, because radio only goes out this far, to being on the radio station and so on and so forth. And I know in this day and age, radio stations go out further than that. But at least in my experience, if it's solely just a radio station and that's it, again, I know most radio stations are hooked to other things, then I would say no. Same with print. If you're using a newspaper, local newspaper, then it's not digital marketing. It's a newspaper that's literally only going to be seen in that. Now, if they have a digital presence and they have a website and, blogs or whatever, then yeah, it turns into digital. A lot of traditional marketing has a digital component to it nowadays. I've been in or been blessed to have articles in digital magazines and stuff. So, but I think I actually I could have ordered a physical copy too. So, yeah, digital marketing is just that. It has to be able to be accessed worldwide. Basically, it has to be digital so people can consume it as a very basic, as a basic definition. So for sure. And like Peter was saying, marketing it can be a full-time job. That's why there's agencies for it. So you making your plan and committing is you need to think about time. You know, and especially if you're doing this part-time, which a lot of us entrepreneurs, it starts as a side hustle, you know, and you're doing it very part-time. So you need to think that through because it takes a lot of time. And yes, again, there's amazing tools out there to help cut down on time, but you have to learn how to use them. So that takes time. I know even in our community, we've had people come and teach us about, you know, ChatGPT and speak to text and some of the tools out there. And grateful for that. So learning all those platforms can take time. So you end up factor that into. And then again, you got to have a place for those people that you market to land, whether it's just a simple booking link and they book an appointment with you and you do that. Or if they go to a website and then what do they do once they get to your website? Do they buy? Do they book an appointment? So you got to think that out too as part of your marketing. And a good marketing place will tell you that, like, what is the customer journey? That's what it's called, customer/client journey from start to beginning. They find you on Facebook, and how do they end up being a paid client fulfilled, like whether it's service, product, or whatever. So what does that journey look like is another thing to map out so that you have that in place so that when you're marketing and those people do find you, what is your client journey? And again, you're going to tweak it as you go, as you learn, for sure. I think the other thing is to consider is that what works for like popular people or influencers might not work for you. Again, get the same industry, but if they've already got 3-4 million followers, your 500 followers, their tactics aren't going to work the same. They have the numbers to do whatever they want on marketing. But they did things to get there. So you might try out one of their methods. Don't try out all 20 methods they use to get their 5 million because they've built that over time, usually. So again, pick one platform, pick one method, 2 tops, so that you spend your time and effort accordingly. Somebody asked if you need to have a website. No, you need to have a way for them to buy or book an appointment. That can be a business page on social media. That can be a link to said products, whether it's on, I don't know, Amazon, eBay, I don't know, Etsy, all the physical places you can buy physical products. Or even, and then again, a calendar link to book an appointment with you if it's a service base that they need to get to know you, or if you're selling services, you know, some way to buy it. So I know a lot of marketing companies tell you, you don't necessarily need a website. A website is part of marketing though. So if you want to use a website as marketing, yes, that is part of marketing. So, yeah, come on in, Peter.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. My very first business, my method of marketing, and it was in the art space of art. I was producing and manufacturing canvases for artists, and my method of marketing was literally carrying my child on my back in his carry sack, and I had printed little flyers, and I found like the cultural center of town where all the galleries are, and I walked from gallery to gallery and introduced myself. Hi, I'm Peter. I make canvases. I give them archival value. I make my own. I make my own primer. It's not these cheap canvases that you can buy that tear. These are quality. Here's small little samples that I've made, and that's how I generated business. And then I had customers because artists would go to the gallery and they would drop off paintings and they would need to buy canvases, and the gallery would be like, well, we're looking for a painting of this particular size. I can make it. And it worked for me. It really worked. So if you're a local business and you're looking to generate business, some of the aspects of digital marketing are not going to work for you. Then you need to take the technology out of your head and reverse backwards and go and print those flyers and hand them out to, if you're running a lawn mowing business, creating an entire website and doing this whole thing and going might not get you customers because you're looking for customers in a very localized space. So you really have to look at what you're doing, and are you going digital or are you going backwards? Because one might work in the other, so really do your homework. I generated a lot of business. I sold a lot of canvases. In fact, I mean, it's not often, sometimes I'll meet people and we get invited to go places, and I'll rock up somewhere and I'll see a painting and I'll be like, that's my canvas. So, they're all over. They're all over. And that was old school, word of mouth, a little flyer, a couple of samples, old school. But now we translate that into a different type of business, into a new technology, and it becomes a different beast. It becomes something that now we're not looking to just reach our neighborhood, we're looking to reach the world. And we have that ability and we have the tools to do it. It's just a question of finding the right tool or the right method, finding the right tool for that method, and then learning the right skills to function the tool. So if you're missing one of those three, then it's not going to work for you. Like, you're going to find this great app. Well, the app's not going to do it for you. You have to work on it. You have to figure out, how does it work? What buttons do I push? How do I look backwards on the numbers? How do I there's so much involved. Don't keep yourself stupid. It's quite a simple thing. Don't keep yourself stupid. And I think in certain things I've looked at and I really don't want to learn that, but I really need it. I need that. It's what's going to work for me, but I really don't want to learn it. So then you have to develop the skill of finding, well, then who's going to perform that function? Who is going to do that? Who's going to get it done? Who knows how to do it? And find that person. So, and then at the same time, while they're doing it, you want to learn what they're doing so that you always have to be in the know. So just because you don't want to learn something doesn't mean you don't need to know what they're doing and how they're doing it. You just don't end up doing the actual job yourself. And I think it's great to be able to have access to people like Somerville when I'm like, oh, I need this thing. I need this thing done. Do I know how she does it? No. Do I know what she's doing more or less? Yeah, I know what she's doing. Do I know how she does it? Not a chance. When you reach out to a marketing, are you going to know exactly how they're doing what they're doing? If you reach out to a marketing company, no, not really. But they've got full-time people that are paid to function those particular jobs. If you're trying to do it for yourself, well, then you need to learn, and you need to learn how to do it. And once you've learned how to do it, you might be able to teach somebody else to do it in your space. But permanently be learning. Otherwise, you're doing nothing.
Yeah, so very true. And there's so many resources for learning, whether it's watching a YouTube video or reading a course or email or whatever. And a lot of it's free. And again, you got to start somewhere. So start there. And again, if you have resources around you, then start there. And we talk about resources all the time, but cast the resource net far, whether it's your community, virtual community, in-person community. I know I'm surrounded by colleges, and I know that there's programs where people People are looking for business owners to have, put interns, students into them. Is there a learning curve? Are they learning? Yes. Is it going to cost you a fraction of the price? Yes. Can it be beneficial? Yes. Is there a 100% guarantee? No. But is it worth giving that shot? Or learn about the college, learn about kids, the students that have went through it before. Are they successful? Are they doing well? Do your homework, just like digital companies, do your homework. So that you can figure out these resources because they're out there, including collaborations. People were talking about collaborations on the live chat. If people are not willing to collaborate with you or even meet with you and have coffee chats, it's called next, 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 next. In the sales world, you need so many no's before you get to the right yes. Keep looking. Don't feel that they're not out there because they are. You just need to keep looking, for sure. And I've seen a lot of different platform styles, e-commerce, digital services, and they find them. They really do. Again, you have to put effort into it. There's not a magic, open. I always chuckle when somebody's like, here's a course for $2,000 and you're going to sell your courses in 90 days. And I'm like, okay, sure. Sorry. Sorry, y'all, course creator, sellers. I'm not against courses. I just, I'm not against courses or selling courses by any means because education. It's the guarantees that people put on those things that frustrate me because I'm just like, how do you know they're going to apply it? Are they going to follow exactly what you said? Is your method possible? I love it when it's all industries and I'll be like, okay, that tells me absolutely not because no course is going to address every single industry. So again, do your homework, I think is the biggest thing, and do your homework and then that planning part of it. And see if you can run your plan. If you have a plan before you meet with a digital marketing company, even if you're inquiring, you can say, hey, can you look at my plan for 2.2 seconds? Like, can you just can I read you a part of it? What do you think? Have your stuff with you when you meet and try to collaborate with these people, even if you can pick their brains for one question, it's one more question that you have a little more solidity with. For sure. Come on, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I like the way that each week is kind of building on the next because if we are talking about digital marketing today, we're looking backwards to the avatar to figure out maybe our email marketing. So everything relates, everything links, and you can almost predict what's coming ahead because you got to take a next step. You can't just go, oh, let's learn digital marketing. Let's do digital marketing. But then, as Sondra said earlier, you haven't prepared your space for what happens when all of the customers arrive, because the entire point of marketing is to make sales, to sell your product, to sell your services. So if you're not set up to sell, don't market. Don't do
Right.
it if you're not set up
And
to
then
sell.
that relates to finances that we talked about for 2 months.
Yeah.
If you don't know your finances, you don't know how much you can invest in marketing. So I don't know, say you're selling your services for $500. How many sales do you have to do to cover a marketer that's going to charge you $1,000 a month? Like 2 sales is just going to break you even. That isn't making you any money or paying for any other platforms or anything else. That's paying for the marketing person. But you got to know that. You got to also know that, hey, I need, I don't know, $1,000 between
Yeah.
platforms and resources for building out if it's a product or even services, and all that other stuff. So I need, 3 times that amount if I'm going to hire a 1K marketer. And if I'm not making those sales or if that's not going to work, gotta know your numbers. And do you have to know the nitty-gritty numbers? Like we said, get your resources, but know your numbers. If a marketing company says they can do X, what do I need X to look like to break even? What or make money or however much money I want to make? Again, good marketing company is going to ask you those numbers. I had worked with my one and only e-commerce client, you know, uh, she did paid ads and they were like, how much are you making per product? The client couldn't tell them. so they're like, okay, well, we help you make X amount of profit off your things, but we need to know your numbers so we can figure out what that is. And then how much do we have to sell to get to. So you have to know those numbers when you go into marketing or going to a marketing company, because they're going to be like, okay, well, what do you want the outcome to be? What is your goal? Is your goal to sell X amount of pieces, or is it to sell X amount of packages or X amount of money? What are your goals for your business? So we know what we're marketing to. What is your client avatar? So we know who we're marketing to, you know. And were you posting nowhere and we're starting from fresh? Do you have a community already built? Do you have a group? Like, there's all these things that you do before you hire a marketing company. Like Peter said, it's not like you just jump into marketing. Okay, I open my door. It's day 2. I'm going to go market. Doesn't quite work that way. Please don't do that. Please don't waste your time and money, because people are going to be like, okay, just pay me. And again, they're just taking your money because they're prying on the whole you don't know. So educated is definitely. Go ahead, and then we are going to wrap up. 45 minutes fly by in a heartbeat.
It does fly by. Just one last thing I'd like to add is that rather test the waters for yourself and figure out how something works and how it needs to be done, especially for your space, and then get to a point where you don't have the time to do that anymore and you have the ability to farm it out to a marketing company because you already have a strategy that works. 9 times out of 10, a marketing agency is going to tell you, we have this approved method that's going to guarantee you X, Y, and Z. 9 times out of 10, they don't get those results, and then they go, oh, but for your particular space, we have to tweak this, and we have to tweak that, and we have to tweak this. And so be very careful when you're approaching a marketing company with something that is completely fresh that you haven't even learned how to do yourself yet. Rather learn how to do it yourself, figure out what works, and then go ahead and do it. And then if you are dealing with an agency and they are saying we're going to give you guaranteed results, then you have to create some sort of guaranteed payment. If you don't get those results, then I will pay you for the results that you get at a sliding scale because it's going to cost you a lot of money. So be
Exactly.
prepared in advance.
Right. And they're the experts, and we're not saying don't hire the experts. We're just
No.
saying know
No.
why you want to hire their experts and what you're getting out of them being the experts, because they're experts for a reason. Marketing companies are marketing companies. We're not against marketing companies. We're just saying do your homework, know what you want to get out of it, how you want to get out of it. How can you read a report? What kind of reports are they going to give you? If they tell you they're not going to give you a report, please run the other way, because everybody should be giving you a report. But anyways, our time is flying by. Like we said, watch previous shows, client avatar, financials, business plan, all those things feed into and why we're building it this way. So we want to thank Susan. She does our covers, show notes. She'll put mine and Peter's link to LinkedIn in the chat. You can book a call with us. We'd love to hear what you're getting out of the show, what you want to get out of the show in the future. Get to know you, get to know our audience so that we are marketing to the right audience. Just like we said, we would love for you to share, like, and subscribe to our show. And then on Spotify, we are on Spotify. So please go like and share and listen to that. And then you can rate. I think you have to listen to like 3 shows, and then you can rate us over there. So that'd be amazing if you could do that for us. Miss Somerville, who's always in the background helping with all the things, keeping Peter sane a little bit, everything in between. Thank you, Somerville, for everything you do. We have a saying, get yourself a Somerville, just can't have ours. My name is Sondra. I am the owner of Get It Done. I help with planning, goals, accountability, tweaking the plan, virtual assistant services, pretty much anything to get it done, which is why it's called Get It Done. So I am super grateful. Mr. Peter, can you take us out?
Awesome. So we'll end this off like we usually do, with Pinky in not Pinky in the brain, but close enough. Famous words from Nestine Buerta: may all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true.